What does it mean to hate rejection?
It means that you hate somebody else's boundaries. When you hate rejection, you hate a boundary that somebody has put in place for themselves. You judge their boundary, but in turn, you're judging yourself. You end up hating rejection because you hate the part of you that other person is rejecting. You don't hate them. You hate yourself because they're putting a clear boundary up that something you're doing is in conflict with that boundary that they put up, and they're rejecting you. You can't take rejection personally because rejection is showing that there is a boundary that you don't understand or do not accept.
And if there's a boundary you do not understand, is there a possibility of reframing yourself, rebuilding yourself, reconstructing yourself so that you can surpass that boundary in a positive way of them accepting you? Now, there's an issue with doing that too. At some point, you just got to realize they might just not, they're putting up that boundary because you're just not compatible with them. But that's, I'm keeping that off to the side. Is that a sign that, is it a possibility when they put up that boundary, they're saying that's an indirect way for you to say to yourself, hey, there's something I need to improve on myself here?
Absolutely. And if you're willing and if you're capable, have that conversation with them. If, let's say you put yourself out there for a future partner and they reject you, I think it takes a lot of strength to be able to say, is it possible to have an adult conversation about why you rejected me? I think even uttering those words might make the other person think twice about the rejection. If you can show that you're willing to grow, you're willing to learn, you're willing to understand why they put that boundary in place, why they rejected you, I think that speaks volumes about your character, and it speaks volumes about your willingness to change and your willingness to adapt in order to perhaps be in a successful relationship with that person. Now, why aren't we taught this? Good question. I think that we should be taught this from a very early age. I think that we should also be taught that being wrong is not the end of the world. Getting an answer wrong is not the end of the world, right? We often talk about sports. I think, Michael Jordan missed the game-winning shot more times than he actually made it. What does this show us? You have to try. You get rejected, okay. Why? Practice. Do something to improve yourself. Learn that maybe their boundary is good. Maybe their boundary is there for a reason. Maybe you have to change something so that you can fit within the parameters of what they expect in a relationship. And again, like you said, sometimes I think people reject other people because maybe they're not attracted to them.
They're not compatible. Attractiveness is part of that.
For sure. And that's a hard conversation, right? It's a hard conversation to be like, look, I'm rejecting you because I just don't think we're compatible. I'm rejecting you because I'm just not attracted to you. Those are hard conversations, but they're conversations that if you wanted to actually improve yourself, or if you wanted to, be honest with the other person, then it's a conversation that you might want to consider having.